I'll be honest, I don't think Miranda's that bad. The Devil Wears Prada is getting a 20 years on legacy sequel. And given its moderate cultural relevance and the fact that everything I knew about it comes from TikTok sounds and that one cold open from The Office, I wanted to make a liar's guide for it to coincide with the sequel's May 1st release. Only problem is, as I sat down to write it, I quickly realized that the only thing I really wanted to talk about is Miranda, played to perfection by Meryl Streep, big surprise there, and how effectively the writing, acting, and directing work in perfect harmony towards her characterization. So I hope you've seen the movie, because we're doing that instead. Strap in.
Everybody wants this.
Miranda's terrifying, right? Boss from hell in far more ways than one. She holds within her access to your wildest dreams and your utter destruction, and her approval might as well be a thing of myth. So how do you introduce a character like that?
Oh my God. No, no, no!
We've so far only heard stories of her impact, but then word comes in that the boss is ahead of schedule and her impending presence immediately causes a panic to spread across the office. We got waters going down, tables being cleared, shoes getting swapped, makeup getting touched up. You better look ready and you'd better look good because she's here. That crescendo in the score paired with the quick move towards the elevator doors, and then the camera settles to a stop as they open up and we finally get our first clear view of this person that everybody's been freaking out about for 2 minutes. It's so good. The incomparable Meryl Streep hits the office like a force of nature, spouting off directions and insults with a casual, measured ease. This little wave of her hand to shut up Emily's excuses immediately tells you everything you need to know about how she views her subordinates. She's clearly annoyed by the performance of seemingly everyone around her, but she does so in such a way that makes it seem like the very act of being annoyed is beneath her. Like she's stooping down to an inferior level in order to be annoyed by all of them, like some kind of Lovecraftian micromanager. She's not mad. She's just disappointed. And frankly, you're lucky she cares enough to be. Also, this probably goes without saying, but the fact that she never breaks stride, making it clear that it's up to Emily to get on her tempo and not the other way around, is such a power move. Wait a minute. Is this just Whiplash for girls? Cheers. Just to be clear, this came out like 8 years before Whiplash, so more accurately, Whiplash is The Devil Wears Prada for boys. All of this characterization then gets reinforced in the following bit as she interviews Andy. The whole thing is wall-to-wall disappointment from the jump. I mean, just look at Miranda's face as Andy speaks. She then proceeds to ask some pretty damning rhetorical questions while never so much as looking up from her magazine, concluding with this haymaker.
And you have no style or sense of fashion.
I think that depends on what you're...
No. That wasn't a question.
This wasn't an interview. It was a read, and it wasn't a very good one for Miss Hathaway. I particularly love the way that Andy tries to defend herself and gets literally shooed out of the office. And when she tries to double back and give one of those, "Listen you may not believe it, but I deserve to be here and you'll see," main character monologue, she's railroaded by Stanley Tucci and completely ignored as they jump into more important work. The subversion is such an excellent final establishment of the world Andy's just jumped into, one where her only significance is the utility she can serve. Swim or drown, nobody cares. None of this is about you. Jumping forward a bit to Andy's first real workplace test. We kick things off with Miranda's total refusal to recognize her as an actual person rather than just the position she's filling by repeatedly calling her Emily, something that's apparently unsurprising given Tucci's reaction.
She means you.
When Andy attempts a little agency and corrects her, we get what I think is my favorite bit of Streep in this whole film. That laugh, and you see that glance up, that's Miranda working out a way to put Andy back in her place, ensuring herself a future opportunity to express her dissatisfaction by giving her the purposefully obtuse task of picking up 10 to 15 vague skirts. This made evident by Emily's reaction to the request. And of course, we finally get that diabolical size up to close it out.
And Emily?
Yes?
That's all.
Fucking cold-blooded. Now, we've established that Miranda's a monster, but now I'd like to draw attention to how the story makes it clear that that doesn't necessarily make her the bad guy. We're jumping ahead a bit to the aftermath of yet another failed task. Admittedly, we should all be squarely on Andy's side with this one. People don't fly planes through hurricanes. But nonetheless, Andy's been dressed down pretty significantly, and tears in her eyes seek solace in the presence of the Tooch. I mean, who can blame her? Just a quick moment, if you'll indulge me. God, I love Stanley Tucci. This may just be recency bias, but I'm gonna take a quick stand here and say that Mr. Tucci's gotta be somewhere top 10 most charismatic actors in the game, and I don't think he gets enough credit for it. Even when the scene's not about him, there's this inescapable aura when he's on screen. It's in the self-assurance with which he speaks. It's in those little glasses he's rocking. It's in the way he walks through a space. This massive ring he's wearing this whole movie, I'm obsessed. He's so snarky, And he says so many cruel things, as cruel as any of the rest of them, but there's this subtle kindness in it. I think my girlfriend said it best. He's the fairy godmother. Anyway, for all those reasons and more, Andy seeks some post-scolding guidance. Initially, he wants no part of it. Man's got work to do, but she pushes on. Andy kind of does that a lot in this. Not a judgment, just something I noticed. In response, Stanley doesn't give her what she wants. He gives her what she needs. He points out, very accurately, that she doesn't actually want this job. She might be working harder than she ever has, but she's not really trying. This is a dream job. She works on the top floor of the absolute pinnacle of an art form that millions around the world care deeply about. This isn't somewhere where you just work to pay rent. And just because she doesn't personally get it doesn't mean she's owed any consolations. Which begs the question, how the hell did Andy even get this job? Like, I know this is just a necessary suspension of disbelief because without it, there is no movie. And technically they do explain that she talked to somebody in HR and got it from there, but we're told numerous times that
Million girls
would kill for that job.
and they probably do, metaphorically speaking. So how the hell did this stylish journalism nerd get it? In that initial interview with Miranda, where she points out that Andy doesn't read runway, she doesn't know who Miranda is, and she has no sense of fashion, all implying that she doesn't belong there. Yeah, she's being rude about it, but she's also correct. Andy doesn't belong there, and that's okay. Which is basically what Big Tooch tells her before helping her make the first steps towards becoming someone who does. God, I love that man.
No.
I don't know what you expect me to do.
And this seems to be the turning point for Andy, with her greatest test coming just around the corner. But first, she's got to fuck up again. That's why you never trust children. Andy's dumbass wanders into where she doesn't belong and witnesses something forbidden. Miranda being vulnerable in a scene that's genuinely difficult to watch. Some real horror movie shit. And the fallout is great. It has to be. Miranda requires the balance to be restored. Real quick, before we fully get into the trial set before her, the way she calls her by the full
Andrea.
when she calls Andy into her office is chilling. Anyway, we know how Miranda works at this point. She can't just fire you. First, she has to put forth an impossible task, which will then prove your unworthiness and therefore justify her destroying you. So what has she decided she needs? Something as impossible as it is quintessentially 2006. 2 copies of the unreleased next Harry Potter novel. God, remember what Harry Potter was like before we all knew what a J.K. Rowling is? The interaction plays out between them in matching shots, both in an unbroken push in, which I love because the identical camera move somehow makes Miranda look increasingly powerful while Andy's becoming increasingly claustrophobic. It's great what direction can do with the aid of character. All right, we're not gonna get into the how because it's unimportant to my point here, and I hate this writer guy. Why is his face so tight? But the important part is that she pulls it off, and I wanna take a moment to draw attention to Miranda's reaction as Andy confidently details how effectively she's done the undoable. Andy's now in the position of power. You can tell by how she towers over Miranda in this wide shot. And knowing what a control freak Miranda is, you'd be forgiven to assume that she would be annoyed by this and be scratching at some way to get her power back. Made another mess. Classic Tyler. There's gin on the floor. My hand's gonna be sticky. Can I redeem myself? Where even is the trash can? Nope, but instead, look at this expression she gives.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
Maybe this is just my attraction to Meryl Streep talking, but I feel like there's something almost sexual about that look. The way she sort of closes her glasses with her chin, that dumbfounded look in her eyes. This is a woman who values excellence over everything, witnessing a glimmer of excellence in someone who she had long ago given up on. It's kind of hot. And it's the moment where Andy passes the test. She belongs now, and everything Miranda does from here is no longer to prove her ineptitude, but rather to forge her into greatness, which is ultimately rejected. When the time comes for Andy to leave her in Paris, the act is framed as a good move. This movie is pro work-life balance. It's pro having integrity when it comes to valuing your friends. It's pro not being a bitch for the sake of power. And I vibe with all that. Those are good things to be, but at the same time, remember why she took this job to begin with?
You work a year for her and you can get a job at any magazine you want.
And when Andy goes to that newspaper interview at the end, she gets what she paid for. And that's after quitting the way that she did, which is some obscenely unprofessional ass shit. You can't just Irish goodbye during the most important week at your job and expect a good recommendation. And that's ignoring the fact that she just tossed her phone into a fountain and walked away. I don't care if you want to break your phone, don't you fucking leave it in there. It's shit like that that makes the rest of the world hate American tourists. It would be sensible to assume that Miranda probably hates her, should hate her if we're being honest, but she respects the greatness in her, so she effectively ensures that Andy gets that job. Hate Miranda all you want, I think it's pretty sensible to do so, but you've got to admit, That's integrity. I had a college professor like that. Hated my guts and made that very clear, but I did the work and she gave me the quality grades I deserved for it. Ultimately wrote me a letter of recommendation for grad school. Here's my point. While Miranda is clearly a villain, on a human level, I hate almost everything about her. She's not the villain. Does that make sense? Like, you know when you watch a World War II movie, the bad guy isn't the war, despite the war being the actual terrible thing going on. There's a clear hero, usually a Tom Hanks type, and a clear villain, generally a Nazi or something. And then the horrors of World War II are just like the backdrop, the force of nature that shapes their conflict. Miranda is World War II. So who's the villain, you ask? It's this piece of shit. And that's what I got on The Devil Wears Prada. And if my math is correct, it's only a couple days late. Am I going to see the sequel? I don't know, maybe. I can't say this is my favorite movie I've watched for a video, but like, come on. It's a film centered around the world of fashion. It isn't for me. Speaking of which, what do we think about the new hair? I got a cut earlier today for the first time in like 4.5 years. And I don't know if it's just like because it's different, but the waves didn't quite come back like I was hoping for. So I got kind of like an Allie Beardsley thing going on. I don't know, time will tell. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate you if anybody's, made it all the way to this part. You're pretty dope. I didn't write an ending bit, so I'm kind of making this up on the spot, and I'm not always great at that. It's been a busy month. Next month is also looking like it's probably gonna be a busy month, which is a big part of why I haven't posted on here in quite some time. I made a video about the Night of the Seven Kingdoms show that like nobody saw. I got a feeling part of that is because I have a whole bit that I did using a copyrighted song, and I think I pissed off YouTube with that. Or maybe the video sucks, I don't know. But if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, check that out. Got another video I want to make, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is in case I don't make it. We're gonna kind of see, we're gonna see how the next few weeks go. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'm glad, I'm enjoying, making stuff on here. It is very hot because the AC's not running and I shut the door so I didn't wake up my roommates. So I'm just kind of sweating in here at the moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut that down. But again, thanks for watching. And until next time, remember kids, Jeff Bezos isn't going to heaven. Jesus said so himself. Fuck ICE. The incomparable Meryl Streep hits the office like Meryl Streep. This may just be recency bias, but I'm gonna take a quick stand here and say that Mr. Tucci's gotta be somewhere top 10 most... That's a hell of a sentence I wrote. Got an ice cube. In that initial interview with Miranda where she points out that Andy doesn't read Runway magazine.
Why is no one ready?